Should I buy a house in 2022/23? That is the question I get every single day. Now, let's talk about the market. Obviously, rates are not where we'd like them to be. They're double what they were last year at this time. But the question really truly comes down to what makes sense for your situation. Now, if you extend yourself out and obviously you're going from rent that's like $1,200, all of a sudden your mortgage payment is $2,500 to $3,000, that likely does not make sense. Okay. If you're massively overreaching just to buy a house because you feel like you have to, you may want to reevaluate that. Now, if you've got money saved up, you've got the proper down payment, the proper assets, your debt to income is solid, it may make sense. Housing is the one thing that no matter what has happened, including the last recession in the late 2000s, 2008 through 10, that obviously, even though it dipped for a minute, actually has continued to appreciate over time. So you've got to look at the prime situation, make sure it makes sense. Still a lot of investment properties being bought right now is considered technically in a lot of areas a buyer's market. So you're going to be able to get seller concessions to pay for closing costs. They're going to be able to pay for points to buy the rate down. They're going to pay for a 2-1 buy down, which we'll talk about in another video. But there's a lot of money out there to be had, whereas 8-9 months ago, it was totally the opposite where you had 50 offers on a house. Okay, so here's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Housing is going to continue to appreciate. Even if at a smaller snail's pace, it's fine. Now, are houses cheaper now than they were 8 months ago? Yes, because they were inflated. Real pricing is kind of what exists today. Now, mind you, I'm not a realtor, so you'll want to defer to them to talk about value and what something's worth. But I do see a lot of transactions. I've seen hundreds of transactions for me and my team this year. And over the last 3 or 4 years, more than 1,000, 1,500 transactions. So I can give you a gauge of what may or may not make sense. The first thing I would do is literally talk to a lender, okay? Figure out what you can qualify for, what makes sense, and how you can go about it. That's very important in this world because you want to understand what can I do, what can I do when it comes to buying a house. Now, you're going to get different answers from different lenders. Obviously, rates are going to vary from one to the next and closing costs. So all those things factor in. But again, it always comes down to what's best for you. Doesn't matter if I think you should buy a house. Doesn't matter if your mom thinks you should buy a house. What matters is if you are comfortable making that payment and moving forward. Because owning a house is a huge investment. Now, mind you, it's amazing because you get to build equity. You get to paint the walls. You get to have your own space where you don't have to answer to, some property management company telling you how to do things, right? But again, it comes down to the nuts and bolts of a deal. So if you're looking to buy a house in this market and you want a free assessment of what that looks like, reach out to us. I can definitely help you. You can obviously drop comments below, or you can message us, through our page or set a link on Calendly, our calendar, and see if we can talk through this. Now, if you like our content, we would love for you to like our video, definitely share our video if at all possible, and then of course subscribe to the channel because we're going to try to bring more content out for you. Because we're in a different market now, folks. We want to make sure that we give you the most education possible. I myself, so you know who I am, I'm the #1 VA lender in Utah as a broker. So I've done more brokered VA loans than anybody else. So I love VA. It is one of my specialties. But we want to make sure that there's an option for all things. My team is licensed in 45 states. We can help you. Reach out to us. We appreciate you.